For human society, constantly thinking of how to earn money and apply it for sense gratification brings about the destruction of everyone's interests. When one becomes devoid of knowledge and devotional service, he enters into species of life like those of trees and stones. Purport. Jnana or knowledge means to understand one's constitutional position, and vijnana refers to practical application of that knowledge in life. In the human form of life, one should come to the position of jnana and vijnana. But despite this great opportunity, if one does not develop knowledge and practical application of knowledge through the help of a spiritual master and the Shastras, in other words, if one misuses this opportunity, then in the next life he is sure to be born in a species of non-moving living entities. Non-moving living entities include hills, mountains, trees, plants, etc. This stage of life is called punyatam or mukyatam, namely making all activities zero. Philosophers who support stopping all activities are called shunyavadi. By nature's own way, our activities are to be gradually diverted to devotional service. But there are philosophers who, instead of purifying their activities, try to make everything zero or void of all activities. This lack of activity is represented by the trees and the hills. This is a kind of punishment inflicted by the laws of nature. If we do not properly execute our mission of life in self-realization, nature's punishment will render us inactive by putting us in the form of trees and hills. Therefore, activities directed towards sense gratification are condemned herein. One who is constantly thinking of activities to earn money and gratify the senses is following a path which is suicidal. Factually, all human society is following this path. Some way or other, people are determined to earn money or get money by begging, borrowing, or stealing, and applying that for sense gratification. Such a civilization is the greatest obstacle in the path of self-realization. Artendriyartha vidyanam sarvata panavondrinam brahmshito jnana vijnanat yena vishati mukyatam. For human society, constantly thinking of how to earn money and apply it for sense gratification brings about the destruction of everyone's interests. When one becomes devoid of knowledge and devotional service, he enters into species of life like those of trees and stones. So we see here that the hills and the mountains are also living entities. And also there is, it is said that mountains used to have wings and they could fly. I think this is somewhere in the Bhagavatam. And then also there was this I heard in one lecture that they found a frog in the stone. So they opened the stone and there was frog inside. So I don't know how this frog was living, but they found a frog in the stone. So here is described part of the law of karma. What is the action and what is the reaction? So when the action is focused on only gratifying the senses, then the result is being born in lower species of life and even in immovable species of life, like it is described here. Trees, plants, they cannot move, hills and mountains. So this stage of life is called punyatam or mukyatam, not being able to do any activities. So if you are immovable, then you can do something, but you cannot do much. I mean, you do something is happening in your body. So here the word artha describes what people are striving for. So people are striving for money, and there is so many courses which describe how to make money. And we spoke about passive income. We spoke about how people want to set up something that brings money without working. So for example, if you put a book online and it sells, people sell by clicking and by giving their credit card number, you can earn money even while sleeping. And that sounds really cool, even for devotees. Imagine you are sleeping and some people are buying from you. They're buying your ebook, or they're buying your book, ordering your book from Amazon, and you get percentage. And then they have this so-called success stories where you got in 1 year from earning $2,000 to earning $20,000 or $200,000 in 1 month. So this looks like amazing. So people think that money is the honey, and we think that vani is the honey. And vani means teachings, spiritual teachings, instructions. And spiritual instruction is contained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is describing a different picture of the world than we see it. The values that are present in the materialistic society are described as inferior, and the values that are described as spiritual, they are superior values. And one important value is that human life is meant for self-realization, not for sense gratification. Now, this does not mean that you don't gratify senses, but it means you gratify senses in a regulated way. And if one is gratifying his senses in the regulated way, he doesn't degrade himself. He can continue advancing on his spiritual journey, but he doesn't degrade himself. So for example, we are also eating, but we are eating only food that is offered to Krishna. And everything that one eats that is not offered to Krishna, he eats only sin. This is described in the Bhagavad Gita. It's sinful to eat without offering, even if it is vegetarian food. So the laws of nature or the laws of God are described in the scriptures. And actually many success teachers, they speak about the laws of success or laws of nature, timeless principles. These principles means laws of nature, laws of human interaction, laws of action and reaction. But the problem is that they don't know all the laws. And the laws that people don't know are described in the Vedic literature. Like people don't know, or they don't want to know, that eating meat is sinful. They don't want to know that illicit sex is sinful. They don't want to know that gambling is sinful. They don't want to know that intoxication is sinful. But whether they want to know or don't want to know, there will be reaction according to law of nature. So we know that whatever we do, there will be a reaction, either good or bad. And that is the main law. The main law in nature, or the main God's law, is the law of action and reaction. For every action there is a reaction. For example, there is one law described in the scriptures, jivo jivasya jivanam. It means that one living entity is eating the other living entity. You are always eating someone. Always eating someone. But people don't know who should eat whom and how should they eat. And so we eat only plants and milk. And for this, there is no need of killing. And there is a description in detail who eats whom in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like movable living entities eat immovable living entities. Then animals mainly eat vegetarian, but some are not vegetarian. Humans should eat patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakta prayachati, offering to Krishna fruits, water, milk products, grains. And people don't know this, and because they don't know this or they don't want to know this, they will have to suffer reactions. And what is happening today, whether it's true or not, is a reaction to people's sinful activities. To all of our sinful activities. Now devotees have stopped being sinful, but we have all contributed to the collective sinful activities on the planet. And yesterday one devotee was writing me that, in your hometown there is 134 cases of people who are infected in the old age home, and then so many people are dying. And then I said, how do you know it's true? Just because they show a couple of scenes on the internet, or recorded with a camera or on the TV, it doesn't mean it's true. I mean, you can do montage with everything today. You can do everything with a computer and it looks real. And some recordings can be from the past. So how can you believe blindly what you see on the media? Then the devotee said, so you think it's all propaganda? And then I said, I don't know if it may be. It's 50-50 possibility. So we don't know. But we cannot just blindly believe everything that the media serves. Media is also under the control of the government. So if the government wants people to know something, they can put anything there, and then people start to believe. And some people already don't believe anything that they hear, and some people are rebelling. Some people are objecting. Some people are even, as I told you, they destroyed these 5G towers because they think they will destroy people's health. They will actually kill people with the radiation. So not everybody is accepting these things blindly. Then you may say, but then how do we know that what is here is true, and we are accepting blindly what is in the Bhagavatam? Why do you believe this? And how did you come to believe this? This is from India. This is not ours. And this is maybe for some past, other time. So what do we tend to believe? We tend to believe what makes some sense to us, isn't it? But makes some sense. Like you think, that makes sense. And now what you will accept to believe that makes sense to you also has to do with what you actually like. If you like something, there is more probability that you will believe it. So if you like the fact that you can develop mystic powers, you have a tendency to believe it. So, but if you're honest and objective, then if you hear that there is somebody else who is God and you can never become God, although you don't like the information because you wanted to become God, you believe it. It's possible that somebody else is in charge. So this person doesn't like this fact that, oh, the position is already taken of God. So I cannot compete. I cannot compete with this and try to take the position of God. But it might be possible. It makes sense. It makes sense that there is intelligence behind everything. But people say, no, it's happening randomly. It's happening by accident. So conditioned souls always have excuses why not to be responsible. And this is why they don't want to accept that there is intelligence behind their responsibility. If everything is random, then we can do whatever we like, isn't it? If there is Big Bang, we can do whatever we like. So that is the logic. That is the logic of the conditioned souls who want to avoid God and service to God. And what they want to serve? Nunam pramata kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya aprinoti. Nasadu manya yata atmanoyam. I forgot the fourth line. This verse from the Bhagavatam says that because people are mad after sense gratification, pramata means mad, they create very bad karma, vikarma. Because of uncontrolled senses they create. So it's very important to train oneself to control his mind and senses. And if you control the mind, it's easier to control the senses because mind is stronger than the senses. Mind can dictate to the senses. So this is the disease, unrestricted sense gratification. It's the disease of the conditioned souls that is described here. And I don't know, is Prithu Maharaj speaking now or Kumaras? Do you remember? Who is speaking this? Is it Kumara started to speak? Okay, I'm looking. Sanat Kumar, okay. Sanat Kumara is speaking, so one of the Kumaras is speaking. He is explaining the situation in the material world. And this point is explained by many speakers in the Bhagavatam, by many devotees. It is explained to many devotees. The same point that the goal of the materialistic people is sense gratification. It is described in different ways, sometimes poetic ways. Now, one thing that is opposite to common understanding, or the understanding of common people, is that in our own interest is to get as much sense gratification as we want. And here it says that this paradigm, this approach to life, actually destroys everyone's interest. And it is said, Nate vidum svartagatim hi vishnum durashaya ye bakirartamanina, that it is said that people don't know that their best self-interest lies in Vishnu, or in service to Vishnu. They don't know that this is in their best self-interest. So they try to make themselves happy by self-gratification. And unrestricted satisfaction of the senses is described in the Bhagavad Gita as trying to pour oil on the fire. The more you pour oil on the fire, the more the fire burns. Similarly, the more one tries to satisfy the senses, the more senses are not satisfied and they require more and more sense gratification. Now, we want to be great enjoyers in this material world, but we see that we don't have a capacity to enjoy. For example, if you want to eat unlimitedly, after some time the tongue becomes dull. If you have too many tastes, like for example, if you offer 108 preparations for Gaur Purnima and you want to try all of them, I mean, you can't taste everything. It's after some time. Then also, what to speak of tasting, you cannot digest everything. So it's not good to speak about food in the Bhagavatam class, because then every devotee starts to think about prasada. But sometimes we have to do it. We have to take this exceptionally dangerous risk. And I told you this story a couple of times, that devotees were bringing different preparations that they prepare with love and devotion for Lord Chaitanya, and they have been giving them to Swarup Damodar, his secretary. And they were always asking, has he eaten my preparation? They wanted a result, that I offer this to the Lord, but he doesn't eat it. They put all in one storage. And so he was trying a few times to tell Lord Chaitanya, please can you, do something about it. Devotees are asking, they are offering you things, and you are not eating it, it's just in the storage. And he said, okay, let's sort it out. And they went to the storage, and then he ate everything at once, without any digestive problem. Without any digestive problem. So this paradigm of, we want to be enjoyers, but we don't have a capacity. Or if you want to enjoy unlimited sex, and you have like hundreds of women, so you can try to do this, but you have no capacity. After I don't know how many women, you will be finished. So you don't have this capacity, and God has unlimited capacity to enjoy and to please everyone. People are struggling pleasing one wife, and Krishna has 16,108 wives, and plus so many gopis who are wives of other men. Don't speak like this in public. People will criticize God. So, this paradigm is the paradigm of ignorance. How can I be happy? By satisfying senses. And yesterday I heard I heard only beginning because I fell asleep, a seminar on marriage, because I sometimes coach grihastas, so I learn from professionals sometimes a little bit. So he said, we started this project of discovering the principles of marriage many years ago, and I and my colleague, what we brought to this project is actually huge ignorance. This was very humble thing to say. So when I came to ISKCON, I thought that I know a lot because I read a couple of books about Buddhism and yoga, and I thought, devotees are telling me something, and I thought, well, I know it's also a lot. They think they know a lot. But then as I started learning 2 classes and reading more, I saw that, what I know is like this, and what they are speaking is like this. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, we think we know something because we were reading a couple of books or maybe have a university degree, but actually what we bring to Krishna consciousness is huge ignorance. Why? Because it's all based on the wrong paradigm, on the paradigm of sense gratification. And Prabhupada says, if in the beginning calculation is wrong, if you make one mistake in one calculation, you have many numbers, to add or to multiply or to subtract. And if you have one mistake at the beginning, then the result will be wrong. So similarly, this paradigm that how can I be happy by sense gratification is a wrong paradigm. And we don't believe it, because we are still trying to enjoy it. We don't believe it 100%, we believe it to some extent. So it is said in the Bhagavatam, Ato griha kshetra sutapta vitarja nasya mohoya mahama meti. Griha, kshetra, so home, property, suta, sons, apta, relatives, vitae, wealth. Ato grika kshetra sutapta vitari. Janasya moho yamahama meti. It means all people, janasya, they are in illusion, moho, and they think yam aham mameti. Aham mameti means I and mine. I am mine. I am this body, and everything that is related to my body, griha, kshetra, sutta, apta, vitae, is mine. And that is the ignorance, that is the illusion. Imagine two people coming to the beach, and one man came actually a little earlier, and he took one spot, and then the other man comes maybe half an hour later to the beach to take some sunshine and swim. And he started to fight. He said, why are you sitting here? I want to sit here. And he says, no, I came first. And they start to fight for that spot, which is maybe some very, very nice spot for lying down and spending time. Maybe it has a shade or whatever. I mean, there is some attraction to that spot, so that's why they're fighting. And then actually there is a guy who owns this beach. It's private beach. They didn't know that because there was no fence. And he's coming, he say, why are you fighting? This is mine. So similarly, we come and fight. We have created borders amongst countries. We are fighting for something that is not ours. Now, somehow, all the fighting has stopped. I think wars also stopped a little bit now around the world because of this this situation. So the people are fighting for territory. They're fighting for territory. They're fighting for a place where you can get oil, and they're fighting for supremacy over the different countries. But this doesn't belong to them. You are born without any possessions, and you die without any possessions. You cannot take with you to your grave or to your funeral pyre where your body is burned. You cannot get anything with you. So that is the situation. So in the meantime, people are making plans, but everything will be finished. If nothing else, everything will be finished in the time of the cosmic devastation. There will be massive cosmic devastation, and everything will be destroyed. And the living entities will go into the body of Mahavishnu and being in a dormant, like a sleep state, for many, many millions of years, and then manifest again when there is a creation. So nothing belongs to us. And therefore, when a devotee sees a flower, he doesn't think, let me smell it and enjoy it. He thinks, let me offer it to Krishna. Let me engage it in Krishna service. So this is the difference. How a devotee sees. Yesterday, we were speaking about thinking, and we were speaking, how do you think about anything? And I didn't mention a very important point, and I mention it now, that you think about anything that this is meant for Krishna's pleasure and Krishna's service. That is the way how to think. So Shastra is teaching us how to think by explaining the status quo, how the things are in the world and what is the reality and what is the truth. If you want to find out what is the truth about anything, you read Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam and the saints and sages, they are describing what is the truth. And here, this verse describes the truth of the situation, what people want, and what is the result, what is the consequence of what they want and what they do. And therefore, for us, the lesson is what to avoid. What to avoid. The lesson is what to avoid. So, thank you very much for listening. Do you have any questions? Yes?
As the beginning of the lecture, I was thinking that, like, the people who are trying to earn some money, they actually are doing something, yes? They do many new work, they are busy, they're always online, and this is a hard new job. But then I have realized that doing the money, it's not so important, because this is only for the gratification of the own feelings. And then I have understood that it is very important to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul, and to understand our relationship to Krishna. My question is what is the most important realization that can give us in Krishna consciousness? Is it the realization that we are not the body, or is something more behind that, behind self-realization?
Two most important realizations are that we are the soul, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss, and that includes the realization that you are not the body. Because if you understand you are an eternal soul, you don't identify with the body. And the second realization is that we are eternal servant of Krishna. So what is our function? What is our role? What is our duty? What is our eternal occupation or service? Is that we are eternal servant of Krishna. So these two realizations are most important.
And so now, according to our as an identity, we choose the best way how we can serve to Krishna.
You have your eternal identity already. You will go back to this identity. It's one of the rasas, one of the relationships with Krishna. There is Shantarasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, and Madhurya Rasa. So 5 types of relationships, and you belong to one of them. Your eternal position is one of them. And we are being taught by the acharyas and by our main acharya, Srila Prabhupada, about Madhurya Rasa. So I think it's not an accident that we are being taught about this highest rasa. Maybe most of us belong to that rasa, but I don't know. So we don't have to worry about the rasa now. The most important rasa for us is service, that we are servant. Whether we serve in this capacity or that capacity, in this way or that way, it's actually not the most important thing. So it will be revealed. It will be revealed by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. It will be revealed. So for now, to develop this mentality of a servant instead of having a mentality of an enjoyer, that's our main goal for now. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to share something about the stones.
Yes?
You find a frog in stone. Yeah, in my area near around 200 kilometers, there is a place called Mahanandi.
Okay.
So there, Lord Shiva temple is there. In front of that, there Lord Nandi, Lord big ox something. In every Shiva temple, in front of the Shivaling, the sitting position of the ox is there.
It's a carrier of Lord Shiva.
The Lord Shiva.
Nandi.
So the specialty of that stone is every year it is growing. Every year for the years and years, the size of that stone is increasing every day. So I think 500 or 600 years back, one means great Rishi or something, he predicted that one day this ox will stand and make big sound, shout or something. On that day, entire this universe is going to collapse something. But it will increase, like the pillars, whatever they constructed, it is not supporting it. So they are making big place for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And in Tirupati also, from Tirupati to Kanipakam, there is a place Kanipakam, from Tirupati 40 kilometers. There the Lord is Lord Ganesha. The size of Lord Ganesha also every year increasing. The temple authorities for Lord Ganesha, every year they make jewelry for him. But next year the jewelry is not fitting to him. So they are making once again new for him. So those are
Thank you very much. That's great. Interesting information. Yes?
A question about Shungi Valley. Shungi means zero. So is meant here? No action. Exactly. Because if it's meant here, the full announcement, they are going somewhere and sitting there without doing anything. Or is it meant here they're not doing any devotional service? Or is it meant here they don't accept Krishna's energies? Exactly what does it mean, this Shunyavadi? So zero of what?
It refers to the living entities that don't move.
So you mean this trees and stones, Shunyavadi?
Yeah.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya, is it a place?
No, here zero means zero activity.
Zero activity, yes, I mean zero activity.
I don't know if stones are shunyavadis.
And that's why I'm asking, because I didn't get it.
But it refers to these immovable living
Oh,
entities.
no moving it. Oh, okay, it's clear.
But for example, trees, they are actually doing different things in their body. There is
They're
things.
busy.
I don't know in the stone what's happening. They don't have like digestion and these things.
Some reactions are coming from the
So,
stone.
but I mean, in the tree things, like there is some flow of energy and photosynthesis, synthesis. So there is something going on, but they are not moving.
Okay.
But stones, I mean, we said dead stone, but even in the stone there is jivas, or there is one jiva. So sarvagata means that souls are everywhere. Souls are everywhere. Also, super soul is everywhere. It is said, andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam, that the super soul is in every living entity's heart and in every atom. So andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam. The super soul is in every atom. Yes.
In America, there is a lake. What now it doesn't have any water at all, so it's as in a dry lake or something like that. I don't know how to say it. And the scientists have noticed that the stones are moving there. It's a famous place.
Amazing.
They cannot only describe it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking for a couple of days about the corona, and as you have said now that Krishna, the super soul, is everywhere. Mean does that the super soul is in the coronavirus too?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Certainly. It's every atom in addition.
Yeah, this is in every atom, every molecule, everything. Yes.
You can preach to coronavirus. It's a living entity. You can say, my dear coronavirus, please chant Hare Krishna.
Does some sense to offer the coronavirus to Krishna?
This is not in the Shastra. I have not seen that we should offer viruses. I have seen patram, pushpam, palam toyam in the Bhagavad Gita. It's flower, fruit, water, milk, grains. With this we can offer. Of course, you can say Krishna doesn't say milk and grains, but acharyas, they said milk and grains can be offered. So we take it that this is also something that we can offer, and we follow the acharyas, follow the standards of the acharyas who know what to offer. But you can also not eat milk if you like. Now many people are vegan, and also people don't eat grains also sometimes. They stop eating grains because of their health. So they eat only, I mean, fruit can refer to fruits and also vegetables. So flowers we don't eat. We don't eat flowers, but we eat leaves, different kinds of leaves, and then patram, pushpam, palam, toyam, and water. Water. But regarding water, in one lecture, Srila Prabhupada said that water can mean liquid, and wine is liquid. So he said that if alcoholic offers his wine to Krishna, he will make advancement. He will be Krishna conscious. But don't take advantage, this is not for you. This is for somebody who is addicted to alcohol so that they can think of Krishna. It's not for devotees to experiment with this kind of statements. But you see, acharyas, they preach in a way to engage everybody in Krishna service, but one should not take advantage of this. Also, just so that don't forget, it is stated that women and children are innocent and they should be forgiven when they make a mistake. And Prabhupada said in one lecture, but don't take advantage of this. You understand? Don't misuse this statement. I mean, he's referring to children and women. Don't misuse. But it is true that if children does something wrong, or if a woman does something wrong, one should be more forgiving. Because men are more responsible. They are made in such a way that they're more responsible. So, we need to understand from the acharyas how to interpret the shastras, otherwise we may make mistakes how we interpret the shastras. Now, if somebody who is a conditioned soul in a male body, they see in the shastra that it says that women are less intelligent, they say, oh yeah, women are less intelligent, so we should exploit them or something. But men are also less intelligent. Men are asses. They're big asses. They're attached so much to self-gratification, sometimes more than women. Ass. Yeah, they're so stupid. They're misusing their intelligence. They're exploiting. They're just rascals. So, are they intelligent? Yes, they are materially intelligent, but they are actually spiritually stupid. And in Kali Yuga, everyone is Shudra. So, Kala or Shudra Sambhava. So, how come men are more intelligent? But one of the reasons why this was said also is that women should be protected. Should be protected more. Okay, any other question? Yes?
I want to say, for me, for example, yes, when I was reading this lecture, listening to you and reading the text, I thought immediately how this text shows what is happening now. So the results of what is happening now, so that is because of this, because what this text.
Today's verse.
Yeah, I mean, it's so evident. And there was a lecture, Keshava sent us the lecture, unfortunately, in German. I was thinking of you. It would be very interesting for you to listen. This is a journalist, it is not a devotee, but a very famous journalist, and journalist who can be, how to say, vertrauen. We can believe in him.
Vertrauen.
Yeah, so that's not commercial journalist.
And you can give me the summary in a couple of sentences.
Okay.
What's
Then
up?
I should listen to it again.
On what's up?
Yes, and he was speaking about this, his children asking him, Papi, he has 3 children, why can I go out? Why am I going to school? Well, everything is prohibited. What the Papi, do something. What is happening here? Yes, and that is the theme of his lecture. Yes, the essence of the lecture, what I have understood, that this, what is now this movement, Corona movement, this movement, shows how the people are losing their being human. And that is what he's not speaking with soldiers, he's speaking much more beautiful than me. But that is what we are doing, he asking. So we are losing our, not, he doesn't say losing our human qualities, but that is what he's speaking about. That is our humanization or the anti-humanization of the society. That's what they are doing. They are killing our human potential of how to be, how to behave like humans. Certainly part of us is machine, they can influence it. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Yes, but that is what it is about. A very, very strong lecture, or how to say, and he's doing demonstrations in Berlin. He giving the announcements, he giving the announcements and invites the people to come to, how it's called, the center of Berlin, not where this arch is, there's a Luxembourg Platz, I think it's Berlin, yes, and he invites the people to come there, and he says to you, now the next time we will be this Luxembourg Plus and we'll be speaking about that.
But public gathering is forbidden.
Yes, but he invites, I don't know.
Really?
Yes, he invites.
They will get
he's
on his
very-
case.
Maybe it's a bit too radical, he's a bit too radical, yes. But it can't be soft now.
Mhm.
It's not possible to be soft now. It is not to be accepted. I'll try to make a summary, but it takes some time because it's German. It's a bit not so easy.
Okay.
But I
Basically,
was thinking about you.
So can you stop me please the recording?
No.
Why?
No, it's okay.
No?
I
No,
also
it's
saw
not
this
that-
video,
Huh?
and it's basically he compares this situation with the beginning of 49 when Hitler was reigning and everything was starting to get controlled and everybody was following orders and nobody was thinking about should we do this or is this too much, and nobody really knew what was happening, and at some place they knew, oh, I did something very wrong, and he said this is what's starting to happen right now. Many laws are cancelled, they are not and yeah, it's slowly getting there, and that's why he's